Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live, favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders breakdowns, favorite Raiders everything. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at DMarkJohnNFL for me, at MHolder95 for Matt, and of course Panda Supplements. Use TDL for 35% off. Now, got probably get some people filling in here. The game is probably, what is it? Is it still 28-16? What's the score right now?
31-16.
Oh, yeah.
The Cowboys kicked the
The
field.
real Greer show. Will Greer came to play, man. He was trying to get a job.
Play like he was trying to. Yeah, exactly. Came to play like he was trying to make some money.
Yeah,
like nothing to lose. I think Ted Wynn tweeted it out, like something about having Trey Lance in the building just brings out the best in your backup quarterbacks.
I guess so. Because real Greer, man, he looked really good. I was like, man, he looks pretty fresh. I know he gets backups, but I'm like, hey, he was handling pressure and making some good throws. So, but the Raiders are losing 31-16. It's probably gonna be the first preseason loss in the Josh McDaniels era, right? Could be the first loss. Yeah, I mean, it's the streak is over, guys. The streak is over. We did have the longest streak after the Ravens, I believe, but it's over now. We're back to square one unless Aiden O'Connell leaves a credible comeback. They probably put Chase Garbers.
Chase Garbers is in the game.
I thought so.
The game last drive.
I thought so. So, but let's get to it. Talk about a little bit of the game, and then we'll talk about Josh Jacobs getting signed because that's probably the biggest news of the day. More than the game, actually, kind of. But
it's not kind of.
it is, right? So the game, what we talked about, the defense didn't play very well. I thought Aiden O'Connell, he didn't play as well as he did the other game. I want to watch the film on that, trying to kind of look at how he played, what he was looking at. There are a couple throws that he missed that usually doesn't miss. So I definitely want to check that out, see if there's like pressure or something like that. Maybe he's under pressure more than he usually was. Because the offensive line, they did pretty good in the run game when Zamir White wasn't in there, which is interesting. But yeah. But the offense looked. I mean, they looked all right today. I mean, it was all backups all day, so it wasn't the best showing. But what'd you think, Matt?
I kind of had the same thought with Aiden O'Connell. Like, definitely not his sexiest day. I didn't think it was a bad one, but like missed a couple throws here and there. Kind of to be expected. I mean, not a little bit back, coming back down to reality is the words I'm looking for there. But like, not a bad day. Like you said, I thought the offensive line was a little bit shakier today. No starters at all. Not even their top three tackles with Luminor and Munford not playing either.
Yeah.
Dalton Wagner, I thought he was kind of up and down today. Had a few times in pass pro, he got beat. And then of course had a couple run blocks. But yeah, just not exactly what you were hoping for from after the last couple of games. But defense was obviously the bigger problem today.
Yeah, I mean, the defense. Yeah, they didn't really playing all backups really didn't work out for them at all. A lot of defensive line issues, seriously, because there wasn't a lot of pressure, in my opinion. I don't know what you saw from there, but I didn't see really any pressure at all, really. Not even from like Kuntz or anybody out there. There's really nothing. And I mean, and then when they did, it was easy for them to get out there. I mean, let's talk about the other guy, though. That's the other big news. Tyree Wilson played. So when we get to the defense, talk about Tyree Wilson, how he looked in those first couple drives. I think he played 2 drives, right? I think I think that was
he didn't start, but he played like the first 2 drives, like mixed in the rotation. I mean, I kind of liked what I saw from him. He had a couple plays where he had some nice physically dominant reps and as a pass rusher. Got a couple pressures, had some good moves, but definitely I think an encouraging sign for a guy that, again, hasn't played football since November and just got on the practice field literally a week ago. So encouraging for him to see him at least, be that physically dominant dude. Obviously, still going to have room for growth, but yeah, thought it was an impressive debut for him.
Yeah, some people were talking about his speed. I mean, I don't know what they expected. He went inside, and then you expect him to just run down Will Greer. I mean, goddamn, like I don't know what they're talking about. I thought. Yes, I think the upfield burst was still missing a little bit, but we saw that in college. So when I see these guys in preseason, you really kind of get the college product, in my opinion. That's just what I think. All these quarterbacks kind of look like how they did in college, even though Aiden O'Connell Kind of looks like he did in college a little bit. So these guys, when they come in as rookies in this preseason, you're kind of getting a little bit of the college product before they get into like the real NFL games and this real speed and stuff like that. So I thought you saw a little bit of what he looked like in college, but they were lining him up like they were lining up Max Crosby, and he didn't line up like that in college. So that's going to be interesting to see how he does that. I mean, they're doing a lot of these kind of over fronts right now, and they have like Max as a 6T where he's kind of lined up like straight up on a tight end, but he's not like a 7T. Right. You know what I mean? So he was doing a lot of that. He was Max Crosby today. So that was kind of interesting. So maybe he's going to rotate with Max a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, like when a guy's coming off a foot injury, like and again, like you said, it's not exactly like this huge. What's that? What's so funny?
I'm looking at the comments. I think you were talking about joint practices already, but we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to joint practices. But
I got you. No, but yeah, I was just saying, with a guy that's coming off a foot injury and was not exactly a strong suit in college, like I kind of expect him not to be look like he's the fastest off the ball or anything like that. Like he is still getting used to the game speed, like he's talking about. So encouraging. I mean, if there's one bright spot from today, I think it'd be Tyree Wilson. The fact that one, he was just on the field, and two, like we saw some good things from him. I think you can't be too critical of a guy, and given the circumstance. So he's definitely the best defensive player out there tonight.
Oh, for sure, for the Raiders. I mean, even the secondary didn't play that well. I mean, Duke Shelley gave us some passes. He was giving us some issues. I was, people were like writing him in as a starter before training camp started. It was like it was straight up right in. He is the starter. It's gonna be Duke Shelley. People were putting out their little depth charts. Duke Shelley's gonna be the other corner, and he's out there playing in the deep into the fourth quarter of the third preseason game. Right. So that is he going to get cut? Is he going to make it? And Meek's out there too. You didn't see. I mean, I know Brandon Facyson was hurt, but I doubt they cut Brandon Facyson with how much they're paying him. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with some of these cornerbacks and how they mix it in later on.
Yeah, I kind of thought Shelley, again, the standard was much lower. I thought he had the most positive plays, I guess I would put it from what I could see. Like he had a couple nice tackles. The guy that really stood out to me that was like disappointing was David Long Jr. He was giving up catches. He had the one where he's going for the ball and just missed, but I felt like he had a rough night, missed a couple tackles, and like that was one of the things that I couldn't like. It almost makes it hard to watch preseason football too. At times it's like the missed tackles, like the blown assignments. Like that's where I feel like the Raiders really got crushed today. Is like even when they were in the right spots, they weren't finishing and making the plays. Like it definitely was like not what we've seen from the last 2 weeks. But yeah, like you said, secondary is a rough day too.
Yeah, and then David Long, he had a mistake last week, which I don't know if Hobbs didn't, communicated with him, but he ended up missing a check on when they're doing some bunching man to man. So who knows how they feel about him because he was actually the guy opposite of Marcus Peters last week. That's why I was a little shocked to see him out here this week. So it's like maybe it was that check that happened.
He had another one. I think he had another one today too on the touchdown. I think they were supposed to. They might have been a miscommunication on those two or something like that. Or it was a play that was down in the red zone. So maybe that is part of the issue.
So if he's not picking up the defense, I mean, I don't know why he should be there, right? I mean, we'll see with the corners. Because I know Tyler Hall, I don't know how much he played today. I did see him out there, but it's gonna be interesting to see who's that guy behind Nate Hobbs. It should be him. Do they go with the Meek over Tyler Hall? I hope not. We'll see. I know Meek's done. Yeah, I think he kind of is too. He's not really performing like how you would have want him to. So, you feel like he's about to get cut. I don't see him kind of doing that. I don't know. It's just weird, but they keep guys last year that I wasn't expecting, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, with the Meek, he's on the last year of his rookie deal too. So it's and I think Tyler Hall's probably a little bit younger. So I was worried about him leaving. So yeah, I feel like Meek's done. I feel like today, I felt like he had to have a really good game where he stood out and he didn't. He gave up. He wasn't bad or anything, but didn't really make a ton of plays. I feel like his time with the Raiders is coming to an end in the next few days. So.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that, man. You didn't see much from the safeties, but I feel like the safeties pretty much set. I think I pull him out. I think he had I don't know if he had a knockdown, but I think he had give up a catch too or something really close. But that's kind of set for them though.
Yeah, I feel like he's set and he's on the team. I feel like he's also kind of disappointed in the preseason. I felt like we would hear more from him. As much as they were talking about him. And today, there was one play he had an over pursue. I noted down, and then on that dig, he was playing off against that tight end, and then gave up. I think if it wasn't a first down, it was second or third and 1. So
yeah. It was just all around for the defense. It just wasn't. Nothing special happened. Especially Neil Farrell and them were out there, and they didn't they didn't really do anything to Matthew Butler. Silvera, they didn't really do anything either. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
I thought Silvera, he had a couple plays where he got some penetration in the first half, and then the second half it was back to what it was for the last 2 games. But yeah, I think Matthew Butler's probably gone too, just the way the defensive tackle rotation was out there. Adam Butler didn't play it all day. I don't think he was hurt, so that probably is a good sign. He made the team. Jenkins wasn't out there, so he's on the team. We're running out of spots at defensive tackle right now. You know what I mean? Byron Young was out there today too. I think to get him reps. But
does Neil Farrell get cut? I mean, he was out there first last week, and then he's out there all game today. I mean, that's a possibility, right?
I'd have to look at the numbers, but I feel like he's going to make it. I mean,
wow. I mean,
let's see. We got let's pull it up. We got Tillery. And we got, Tillery's on the team, right?
I think so. He didn't play, but
we got Tillery and Nichols. That's 2.
Okay.
Butler, Jenkins, Young. That's 5.
Okay.
And keep 6.
Well, yeah, but they got a few defensive ends too. I think they kept what?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking just tackles. They kept 10 D linemen, yeah.
They total, so with edges and all that stuff. Yeah, total 10.
So yeah, I guess Farrell would probably be that last guy.
Oh, wow. It's going to be tough, man, because Young's a lock. Yeah, I see that. Young's a lock, right? You got Jenkins and Tillery and Nichols didn't play, right? So that's 4 right there. So who has to be the 5th guy? It has to be Farrell, right? You would think, because Farrell's had a bad preseason. He had some good reps.
So the 5th guy
last week.
The 5th guy would be I see what you're saying. Yeah, the 5th guy would probably be Farrell, and then the 6th would be Young. You're saying? Or
no, I already had Young.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it depends on if they want to keep 5 or 6 D tackles, which will depend on how many defensive ends they want to keep or edges they want to keep too.
Yeah, because I mean, they want to move Tyree Wilson around too, right? Because then they could keep less edges than they usually want to. Man, it's gonna be tough. I didn't realize that. Well, I don't. Silvera was getting had a lot of buzz, but I don't see how he gets on this team at this point. Yeah.
Unless the reviews from practice are really that impressive, the way he's played in the games, I think he's probably on practice squad at best kind of deal. I mean, he didn't have a good enough game today to make it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder about the defensive ends too, because you got Wilson, right? So Wilson played, but you got Crosby, Chandler Jones, right? I guess those 2 guys didn't play, but Wilson, Willis, and Kuntz all played. So they keep Wilson, right? Kuntz plays special teams, which I found out. So I know Kuntz is going to make it. So it's really if they keep Willis, and which you assume they do.
Yeah.
But Deshaun Bauer, which I found out too. I went back a little bit. Deshaun Bauer, who made the team last year, he played special teams too. So Jordan Willis don't play special teams. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens with him too. If he ends up making this team, that was kind of a for sure thing. But I mean, he might be a surprise cut just because Kuntz is plays kickoff. He does punt team. He does punt return blocker. He's all over those things. And they're like, okay, let me keep Kuntz over him. But that would be kind of interesting. But we'll see.
The thing with Malcolm Kuntz is he just can't play the run, and I feel like they want somebody that can Jordan Willis is a good enough pass rusher and a good enough run defender that they'll keep him around for those reasons. Especially if Wilson's not 100%. Or they're not 100% ready to take the training wheels off Tyree Wilson to start the year, which doesn't seem like they are. I could see them keeping, because they could do the 60 tackles that we're talking about and then the 5 DNs, especially if they're going to let you keep 4 or 5 linebackers.
Yeah. We'll see. Okay, linebacker too. The defense is where everybody's kind of sneaking in. I know with offense, Wilkerson is over there. Right? Could he sneak in because he had 10 catches today? But I don't know. DeAndre Carter didn't play, right? He didn't play today. So that's already 5. Yeah. They're keeping Trey Tucker. There's 5 receivers right there. So, are they keeping 6?
The thing to keep an eye on for the wide receivers too is Philip Dorsett was in there late in the 4th quarter, kind of giving me the John Brown, Keaton Cole last year. And even though they brought back Cole vibes in the last couple of years, you know what I mean? The free agent signing that we thought might have had a decent role in the offense ends up not making the team. Because he's played a lot in the preseason too, which is usually not a good sign when you're 30 years old.
No, it's not. No, it is not, man. So yeah, I think that a lot of the defense is going to be tough. I think the offense is going to be a little easier, kind of to plug in, especially some of those other positions. But we'll get into that later. Let's see what else we got here. I guess let's go over some questions. Then we'll talk about Josh. What? Michael Mayer, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say we had Michael Mayer making a couple appearances early in the first half. Had that one nice, didn't quite get the first down, but made like a 3rd and short, fighting for extra yards. So
yeah,
thought he had
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, Aiden O'Connell played pretty well. I thought he, he's still showing his poise, and I thought he was making some plays out there and stuff. So I thought, even outside the pocket, he was making some plays. But he has some, like, couple high throws, but he's had some really great throws I saw out there, like the one on the sideline to Trey Tucker. That was a great throw. So we know he's going to make the team, right? So, but I don't know. What else we got here? Let's look at some questions. Then we'll talk about a little bit of Josh Jacobs, and then we'll get out of here. Okay, what questions we got? That's awesome. Well, I'm not gonna answer that question. So what is the verdict on the number 4 cornerback spot, you guys think? To be honest, I'm gonna think it's Duke Shelley. Just because I think
say the same thing.
Yeah, Duke Shelley still had a pretty good overall preseason and training camp. I think when he was out there, he still made a lot of plays. Even today, I think he had some good coverages that I saw. So I think he's definitely the guy. And I feel like that's somebody that you can move around to. So if he could, let's say Nate Hobbs does get hurt or something like that, he could play slot and things like that, because that's what he liked to do in college. Not in college, but that's what he was drafted to do. That's what he played his first 3 years in.
He was in Minnesota this last year, but yeah, he's kind of bounced around. I forget where he was before that.
So a guy I would talk about before, Isaac Rochelle. Is he going to make the team?
I don't think so, because I don't think he played. Did he play today? What number is he's 96? I don't remember.
Yeah, but he's hurt, I think. Right? Did they just cut him?
I mean, you can't be hurt and be when you're a bubble guy, you can't be hurt.
Right? So
it sucks, but he had a good first game. Like, had you told me between him and Malcolm Kuntz after the first game, it would have been I would have not even think I would have hesitated to say Isaac Rochelle, but you got to be on the field.
All right. So here he is. Zamir White. Let's get to this question. So Zamir White, Wilson looked better than Zamir. Williams did, yeah. Zamir doesn't seem to produce even when the line gets pushed. Thoughts? Yeah. Zamir White is a lead power running back. That's what I learned this preseason. If you don't do lead power, he's not gonna look that good. So he's a one-dimensional running back at this point. I don't know what it's gonna look like. To me, in college, that's why I didn't feel like that he should have been a 4th-round pick. In my opinion, that was way too high for Zamir White. I did not like that pick at all. I figured it was a guy that they would like and they would do that, but I just never really liked that. Just because in college he didn't. I mean, what did he really do in college besides just run through big holes?
That's about it. I mean, he run people over and every now and again. That's the problem. Like, I 1,000% agree. Damian Williams looked better than Zamir White this week. Damian Williams, even on his runs where he didn't necessarily have big gains, showed a little bit more vision, a little more lateral movement skills than Zamir White. So I just think it's at this point they've got something invested in Zamir White in the 4th-round pick, and he's under contract for the next few years. So might as well keep him around, especially now that Jacobs is back and they don't have to throw him into the fire right now to try and work with him and develop him. But yeah, I mean, Damian Williams, player for player, is a better running back than Zamir White right now. And I think he proved that tonight. But I don't think that's happening.
I don't know. I mean, they drafted Zamir White. They're keeping him. Let's keep it real, man. He's 4th-round draft pick. All right. Anyone you think made the team based on tonight's game? What do you think?
Are you guys watching?
I don't know if anybody made the team based on tonight's game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Daniel Carlson nailing a 62-yarder.
Yeah, maybe Wilkerson, right? Maybe Wilkerson steals a spot. Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess if we had to pick 2 guys that could have just based on the night, I think probably Wilkerson going for 10 and 122. And the guy has been productive. He's drawn more targets than anybody in the preseason. He just can't finish and can't hold on to the ball. Like if it wasn't for that, I'd say he might have a chance to take Dorsett's spot, but I don't know if they'll be able to do that, justify that. And then 2, this guy we just talked about, Damian Williams, who might give you a little bit of pause, but again, I think it's a little too late, too late right now for him. But those, I guess, would be the 2.
All right, I see 2 more questions, and we'll get into Josh Jacobs a little bit. So, somebody's asking, I just lost it. Any linebackers we should scoop up? I don't know.
Everyone keeps asking me this, dude. I get to ask this like mailbag every week. Like I'm like, maybe.
Did they sign Jalen Smith? Or no, he just came for a visit.
No, he went to the Saints.
He did. Yeah, he came for a visit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some linebackers that are out there. I don't know any linebackers. Maybe one for a trade, maybe that we can think of. I don't know. They have to do that.
Maybe like we might get like a trade in the next day or 2. Like I think people brought up like Patrick Queen. I don't know if he's getting squeezed out with Raquan Smith there or something like that. But I mean, yeah, like at this point, like kind of hands up, like we'll see who comes available by a surprise cut or a little surprise trade that the league's good for every year. I don't know. Maybe they'll find another Denzel Perryman. And
Patrick Queen. That's a dream, man. I mean, third round pick for Queen. I mean, the Ravens have to be willing to do it too, guys. I mean, that'd be nice, but the Ravens have to. They have to sacrifice their season. I don't know who's the backup behind Patrick Queen.
Let's look this up.
They're like, we won the Super Bowl, so I mean, giving up Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith, that's a pretty damn good linebacker core. I wouldn't do it, but that'd be nice.
Oh, the Ravens do have Trenton Simpson as a backup, so maybe that's why people are coming there. I don't know how. I have no idea. Don't ask me how Trenton Simpson has played in the preseason. I'm not that much of a sicko, but
me either.
Maybe.
Yeah. So last I see Drake Thomas, Kyle Van Noy. I know Drake Thomas he should make, but I don't know. Who knows? I think he's playing Amari Burney, but
you think Amari Burney makes it over to Thomas, or do you think both of them make it?
I don't think so. Bernie's tough because Bernie he can't tackle nobody.
Right, but here's the thing: what we were just talking about was Zamir White. They have a draft pick invested in Burney, and they don't in Drake Thomas.
Yeah, but it's
like
maybe.
I mean, I agree with you. I think Drake Thomas is better, and I think he's had the better preseason. I think he's the better player. I'm not a big fan of Burney, to be honest with you, but they do have something invested in Burney. Just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah,
I'll say this, and I'll put Thomas over Burney on my 53-man roster.
Yeah. I mean, I would go Thomas, but that's just me. I would go Thomas, but I mean, it's at least if a guy comes in, at least I can know he can play the run. I mean, maybe the coverage stuff you can figure out. Maybe we can hide him. But I know he can play the run at least. I know that.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Let's get into Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, before we get out of here, Josh Jacobs signed. He got about $12 million with incentives, about 11.8 by itself 1 year, which I thought was a pretty good chunk they gave him. So it kind of showed that, what they think about the running back room. That's what I thought when I saw that amount of money that they ended up giving him, because, I mean, they really didn't have to do that, but they wanted him to come back because how the running backs are looking in camp. I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, they're averaging like 3.8 yards per carry going into this. So it's not like you're getting a lot of effectiveness out of that. So, yeah, they had to pay him. They had to do it, and they had no choice.
Yeah. I mean, I had the same thought as you. It was like Josh Jacobs, in a way, like his holdout or whatever it is, him not showing up, kind of worked a little bit, that it got him like a, $2 million raise about. Because I had the same thought. I was like, yeah, that pretty much tells you what they felt about the running backs after watching the camp. And it's no surprise that it happened today when they had literally just had their last practice 2 days ago and were about to have their last preseason game. They probably went like, yeah, we kind of need this guy. Like Zamir White's not ready. And I mean, no one, like Britton Brown's been injured the entire time, not going to make the team. Like, you're not going to put 35-year-old Brandon Bolden back there. Like, they had to do it if they wanted to have a competitive offense this year and a competitive running game.
Yeah, and I think the growth of the offensive line gave them the confidence that they could have a good offense this year. I think how they're performing in preseason is giving them confidence, and I think that's why they went out and did a little bit. I think they have a little bit of confidence of what they can do as an offense after the drive they had against the Rams, and just even how good Aiden O'Connell's looked with some of those offensive linemen and some of the depth they have at the offensive line that they feel like, in my opinion, I think that's why they ended up pushing for Josh. Because to be honest, I mean, he's getting Nick Chubb money now. I was thinking, like, why don't you just give him that in the first place? You just give him 12 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Yeah, is it 12 million with the 200,000 incentives, or is it 12 million plus 200 in incentives?
So it's 11.8, and then with 200K in incentives.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so 11.8. I mean, Derrick Henry is 12 million a year. Nick Chubb is 12 million a year. So, and those are probably the two running backs that had just almost just as many carries he did and just as many yards. So it makes sense. That's what the number that I thought they should give him. But just for them to come to that at this point kind of just tells you about what's going on or with the other running backs, because they can't go into the season. They can't go into Denver with Zamir White and Brandon Bolden running the football. They can't. They just can't do that. Not with the Jimmy Garoppolo needs a good run game. He needs that play action. He needs that outside zone, which I think they're going to do a lot of. They're going to do those little outside zone, Kyle Shanahan things. He needs Josh Jacobs to do that because Josh Jacobs is one of the best zone backs in the NFL. So it was important.
Yeah, I mean, like we've been saying for a while, and I think everyone else has pointed out that watched the Raiders games last year. Like, you needed him back in the fold, you needed to pay him, and eventually that did, and it just cost him a little bit of extra money. So, yeah, now we get to go on to some real football.
Finally, some real football, guys. We're getting ready for Denver now. It's Denver. Start that preview. We'll start looking at those guys and see what's happening with Mr. Russell, and we got Sean Payton's offense. We really don't know what we're going to get, but we'll see what he's going to mix it up and try to figure out what he's going to do. Going to give you guys a little preview of what's going to happen there, but make sure you guys check it out. Check out some other stuff on the channel that we got up right now. I'll get some breakdowns of this game. I'll probably do some Tyree Wilson, definitely something big there, and try to see what's happening with Aiden O'Connell, and we'll come back with the film review, and then we got another week into some real football. So we're excited about that. Let's go. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys coming on. And we got about 220 this time. Really appreciate you guys. Like I said, subscribe. Keep up with the channel. We're out. Peace.